first coming by when we think of the street?
Risk,
Threat,
whistling,
catcalling,
harassment,
verbal and physical.
the usual.
Yeah. By the way, my name is S1E3,
S1E3.
and today we'll be talking about sexual harassment.
Imagine the most random day. You're walking, going to get your morning coffee. What does that look like?
Well, let's just say I wake up, put on some random clothes, and I'm going to my favorite coffee place to have some morning coffee. And I have at least 4 or 5 guys talking to me, calling me by a fruit name, by my genitalia, or just whistling, or just saying nasty things in general.
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight.
Well, how does that make you feel? Because I've heard a lot of misconceptions about this. When people actually think it's a compliment. So I want to know from your perspective, what does that feel like?
Well, maybe those who catcall might think it's a compliment, but me who receives the catcalling definitely doesn't think that. In fact, if you want to know, I find it disgusting and nasty. And how is me being objectified and sexualized a compliment? Like, who wakes up in the morning and is like, oh, well, let me just go out for someone to call me pussy and then I'll feel complimented and better about myself.
Let me just wear these shorts because I'm really trying to get 4 people's attention today.
Yeah, exactly. It's nasty and disgusting, and it can be really disturbing.
So to get things straight, no, it's not a compliment, and that's that.
It is definitely not. But I've heard a lot of other misconceptions as well. That people say clothes make a difference.
Oh yeah, to a lot of people actually. The general opinion, especially in our society, clothes make a lot of difference to them because I don't know, I think this is the biggest misconception maybe regarding street harassment, because let's just take the most random hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
You're wearing that and I'm wearing a mini skirt. I'm wearing a lot of makeup, you're not wearing any makeup. I have red hair, you don't. Which one of us is going to get harassed? Take a guess.
Both of us?
Exactly, both of us. So, do clothes really make a difference?
I don't think so. Speaking from my personal experience, I've had short hair, shaved head. I've had long hair, have worn loose jeans, tight jeans, skirts, mini skirts, and I've been verbally, sexually harassed in the streets at all times.
In all of those cases.
In all of those cases.
You could even go out in pajamas, you're still gonna get harassed, I assure you.
So really it's not my fault, it's just the people, the guys in this case out there who just like to catcall us because whatever their reason is. Another question I have is, do you even remember the first time you were publicly harassed?
Well, to be frank, not really, because I think that the first time any of us have gotten publicly harassed was at an age where we didn't actually know it was harassment. We didn't really know what was happening, so
exactly.
You can't really like point it out in a specific period of time when that happened, because you don't know when it happened, because you don't. There's a difference between it happening and you realizing that it's happening.
Exactly.
So we don't know.
I'm pretty sure I don't remember either. It was probably at first I thought, oh, someone's paying attention to me in the street. Maybe someone really likes my outfit or how I look.
This is just a nice person giving you a compliment.
Yes, but then it becomes too much because you have 4 or 5 people in the course of an hour talking to you, and then that day becomes a daily thing, and then it's just too much. But the weird thing about it is that my family and my society teaches me that is a normal thing, and the fact that this has been normalized and us women being expected to just shut up, put your head down and move forward, that's just not okay.
That's just the standard strategy everyone uses, because that's what everyone has been taught. I've been taught to ignore these people that catcall you in the street my whole life.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do when it actually happens? It's like, it's an instinct now. It's become an instinct because every time it happened, I was told to just shut up and walk away with my head down. So
yeah, but it doesn't really seem like a solution, because this harassment in the street keeps happening to any of us who's a woman, I guess.
It's rather ignoring the problem rather than solving it.
Exactly. Do you have any personal experiences that you could share with us?
Oh yeah, let me let me find one.
357.
So I've had a lot of normal experiences with catcalling, like what we like to call the standard, because it's become so normal. But One that um, one that was a bit much was when I was walking home from getting coffee with my friends, and it was broad daylight again. It was like 6 p.m. on a summer day, and this car starts going at the same pace as me and follows me all the way home for the 10 minutes it takes to get there. So at first I tried to do the first thing I thought to do, which is ignore them, but then clearly that didn't work. So I tried to do something about it. So I take a picture of their license plate and I take a video of them showing all of their faces, and I'm like, hey, I have proof now, I can do something about it. And I go home, I go up to my flat and I look out the window, and these people are parked in front of my apartment building, and they stayed there for 10 minutes. And now I actually start feeling the risk, because these people know where I live, and these people park right in front of where I live. So it kind of felt like stalking at this point. So
It is actually.
I had to do something about it. So once they leave, I go to the police and I show them my proof of what happened. And I go there thinking that when I get out of the door, I'm gonna feel safe. But when I got out of the door, I felt made fun of. So
Wait, you just got made fun of by the police?
because I wasn't physically attacked and nothing really happened. I didn't have any marks on my body to prove what happened. So they just talked to me. They were just complimenting me. They didn't force me into the car, nothing really. So if it doesn't get physical, the police doesn't care.
Oh, exactly. So what I'm hearing is this logic is flawed, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, let's not cure the disease before it happens.
Let's not take
Let's
precautions.
just wait for the damage to be already done, and then maybe we can think about what we can.
Let's
what we can
not
do.
take the free vaccination, but wait until I get the disease and then spend hundreds of dollars to cure it.
Yeah, it just
It
doesn't, make sense. And again, it is not a compliment,
No.
right? And it can get pretty risky. I've had cases. What if, the question is, what if I can get harassed 100 times, but then that one time after the 100th time, something goes wrong, and then what? The course of my life changes forever. What if it was not broad daylight? What if your house was not so close to the city center?
Exactly.
What if they actually grabbed you in the car?
What if there were any other people around to see that, and they could have just easily forced me into the car and nobody would ever know?
Exactly, that's not just hypothetical, because there are real life examples that have happened to other people. But we were just lucky that we weren't one of them. I guess.
We've caught up to the idea that that it won't really happen, because I've been catcalled 100 times and nothing really happened. But as you said, it takes that one time for it to turn dangerous really quick, really fast, and you'll just find yourself in a really uncomfortable situation right after. So, have you ever had a case where someone actually followed you home or got them violent when you rejected them?
Luckily for me, I'm not one of the cases where someone got violent with me on the streets, but I've had people follow me multiple times. I was just lucky enough not to, for that situation not to escalate. I've had cases when plenty of guys have been after me for hours and hours, and unlike you, my home is not near the city center.
Which makes it a lot more dangerous.
A lot more dangerous. I've had cases when I've had guys follow me in dark streets, and then I've had to fake call my dad to just, get myself out of that situation. And then my question is, what if that doesn't work? What if that fake call really doesn't work?
Exactly.
And then what would have happened to me? And it's not like, oh, it's your fault for going out at night.
Oh yeah, because we're just supposed to isolate ourselves till we die so we don't get harassed.
And that brings me to the other point, which is clothes don't matter. The time we are out doesn't matter. The problem is the guys who are really catcalling us. The people doing it are the problem. That's the root of our problem. It doesn't matter if it's broad daylight or nighttime. I'm out because I have the right to be, and you don't have the right to harass me. Simple as that.
Our solutions are always, they just keep getting more hilarious, because one solution is just ignore them until they just decide to rape you out of nowhere. You let it happen, ignore them.
Exactly.
Next solution is stay home.
Yeah.
Don't go out at night, because it's totally okay for me to imprison myself
Yeah, because
So because of someone out there who thinks it's okay to harass me in the street, that's not gonna work. I can't be inside my house for the rest of my life.
yeah.
It's not a long-term solution. Maybe you will not go out one night. Maybe that could save you for that night. But what happens next?
And I'd go as far as to say that is not a solution at all. Imprisoning
Exactly.
girls in their homes is not a solution. Us not being allowed to go out at night is not a solution.
Yeah.
The solution is basically educating these people who think it's okay to harass, objectify, sexualize women in the streets.
Exactly.
And I know this is probably sounds too idealistic,
Yeah.
but I think we should have some type of course or a type of thema included in our school books that talks about sexualization, objectification, and harassment, and how it is not okay and it should be normalized and the standard.
We have this tradition of overcomplicating every single subject for children in like 5th, 6th grade. But the things that actually matter, for example, how to treat another human being, how not to harass someone, how it's not okay to do that, and just how to communicate like a normal human being.
Exactly.
We're never taught that. I've been in school for the last 12 years of my life, and I have never been taught on human interactions and how to treat other people. And basically, we're not being educated.
We're not being educated, and I know that this is not going to be solved in a year, maybe 10 years. But
This is not a short-term solution.
It is a long-term solution, but a necessary and essential one. Just because
Exactly.
we need to have something in our school systems, in our education system that teaches one how to behave towards another human being. In this case, men towards women. And I know that until that happens, we need to take the measures
Exactly.
to protect ourselves for now, because to be frank, I don't want to be at the house at 8 p.m. if there's a party happening and me wanting to walk to the party.
So we can just wait for the long-term solutions to come, because of course it's gonna take a long time. But I think it's also it would also be good to clear up that we're not doing this to show this perfectly planned mechanism on how we're gonna stop this instantly or how we found the solution. We know that it's really hard to do that, and we've been trying to do that for years. But I think one of the most important parts of this conversation is that we'd like to reach audiences other than girls, because we believe that guys seeing this, they're gonna get to see our perspective, and they're gonna get to see their victim's perspective, the person that they catcall. They're gonna get to see this through their eyes.
Yeah.
So I really hope that this does something.
Yeah, I know this is nothing new for the girls out there, just because, just like me and Ganta, you've experienced these things. But this is to all of you men out there who think that compliment means calling me a pussy in the street, or showing how much you want to eat my pussy, or calling me by a fruit name, or whistling to me. Honestly, I don't like that. I feel disgusted, and it's nasty, and it is not a compliment. I hope this reaches out to you, and just to show that please stop doing that. Don't chase girls. If she says no the first time, you following her for 2 hours is not going to change that. And even if it
Consent
does,
is a thing.
yes, consent is very important. And until we educate your children, please educate yourself on how to treat another human being and not objectify women and not sexualize them.